Hello, 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 y bendición. Welcome to Pero Who Am I? A podcast about self discovery and the life of a modern day Latina with your host, Lisa Marie. Hey, hey, hey. So, I just wanted to start off by letting you guys know that Idea to Launch Academy is going to be launching its intensive course with the one and only Carla Wilmaris. If you've been thinking about starting a podcast and you're just not sure how to get started, I highly, highly suggest that you go on over to Idea to Launch Academy and get signed up for her intensive course. Carla will walk you step by step on everything you need from the equipment all the way down to the outlines. She guides you every step of the way. And with her intensive course, you meet with her on a weekly basis, and she's literally right there to guide you through the entire process. So go to Idea to Launch Academy. I will provide a link in the show description so that you can just click on it, get signed up, and be on your way. Hey guys, so on today's episode, we are going to, for the Spanish lesson of the day, I wanted to go ahead and touch on the Hispanic Heritage Month for this year that runs from September 15th through October 15th. And we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month in a way of celebrating the independence of several different Hispanic countries, starting with Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. And then there's also Chile, Mexico, and Belize. On today's episode, I am joined by my fiance, JR, and he finds that there's different reasons for the words Spanish, Hispanics, Latino. So I'm going to let him kind of introduce himself, say hello, and then let him go ahead dive in.
Hello. Yeah, I think there's a big difference between what people would call Latinos, Hispanic, Spanish, any of that stuff. Like I consider myself Hispanic. I definitely don't consider myself Spanish. I believe if you're Spanish, you come from Spain, and that's a whole nother story there. But I'm Puerto Rican of descent, and I'm Caribbean. So I think any country or any Spanish speaking people that come from the Caribbean are definitely Hispanics.
All right. So that's just our Spanish lesson of the day. A little bit simple, a little bit of history. And so on today's episode, like I mentioned, I have my fiance, and I'm always talking about him on my episodes because he is part of my journey. And today I thought it would be really cool to kind of bring him on, ask some questions. We're going to play a little icebreaker so that he can kind of warm up to this microphone. And then just, get a little bit background on us and where we're at in our relationship. So for our icebreaker, I'm going to play Would You Rather. And would you rather eat at a five-star restaurant or have dinner at home?
Dinner at home. I love the intimacy, basically.
Would you rather me with makeup or without makeup?
Without makeup.
I asked this question because anybody that knows me knows I'm obsessed with makeup, and he hates when I take hours to just put on makeup. Would you rather the sunrise or the sunset?
Wow. The sunset.
Why?
Um, I think it's more romantic. Plus, it gives you all night to do whatever you want to do.
Would you rather time with family or time with friends?
Oh, family.
Here's a big one: sweets or alcoholic drinks?
Alcoholic drinks.
Would you rather have wisdom or be popular?
Wisdom.
And would you rather more time in life or more money in life?
More time. Because I can make more money in time.
Awesome. So now that we've warmed you up a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit about how we met. I have a couple questions that I'm interested in hearing answers to, and I know he has a question for me. So a little background on how we met. You want to say that?
We met through a mutual friend.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So we met through a mutual friend, my best friend, his best friend, and we did a couple family events together. I went to a barbecue at his house, and I actually turned him down without knowing that I was turning him down. All because I said I don't date within the circle because he was one of the guys, he was a friend, and not realizing that I would turned him down.
Oh, yeah, you did turn me down, but at the time, that was the best scenario for us.
All about timing.
Yeah, it's all about timing.
So we ended up, well, maybe a year later,
No, about almost 2 years later.
almost 2 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So almost 2 years later, um, he had went to the gun show, which didn't even invite me. We won't go there. And told me to give him my number, so that next time he goes, he could invite me.
Well, let's elaborate a little bit more on that one. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. My best friend and I, which is her best friend also, uh, we did come home from the gun show and we were all happy, he and I, because he picked up a gun and I got to see different things. And when Lisa came over the house, she was coming over not to see any of us, but to get ready to go out with my best friend's sister. And that's when we showed her the gun that was purchased. And I know, well, I didn't know at the time, but she was a gun enthusiast as much as I was. And then she did say, "Why didn't you guys invite me?" And then that's when I was like, "I didn't know you would want to come." And I played it kind of slick, and I was like, "Well, why don't you give me a number, and the next time we go, I'll call you and invite you." She gave me her number.
And that's all she wrote.
Yep, that's it from there.
We've been inseparable since.
Yeah, we definitely
Literally.
have.
um, yeah, that's pretty much it. We started talking from there, and one of the things about me, and I've mentioned it in my other episodes, is that I overthink everything, and I was told to kind of think outside of the box. And the reason I was told to think outside of the box is because JR is older than me. And initially, it was one of those things that was like, well, he's kind of older. Do you really want to talk to him? And I'm glad I did.
How
And
much older am I?
he is 12 years older than me, which is kind of funny because it goes into the one question he has for me, which is what it's like to date an older man who also has older children. And he and I have a 12-year age difference. Well, ironically enough, his son and I have a 12-year age difference, which can be kind of weird at times. Because he's an adult, his daughter as well is an adult, and I don't have the connection with them as my children have with JR. And it's different because we live together, whereas I'm not living with his kids. His son lives in South Carolina, his daughter lives nearby, and definitely have a much closer relationship with his daughter than I do with his son. And I know that with time that'll change, and we'll all be one big happy family.
Yeah, I mean, but I want to clarify. My kids love her, but
I didn't say they didn't.
but my kids are very to themselves. They don't really show emotion outside of a, I don't know, familiar atmosphere. And because my son lives so far and my daughter, lives where she lives, they don't have the opportunities to be around us as a family as much as I would like. But they do love her.
Right, and I mean, and I get that, and I understand where unfortunately, life is life, and things have changed, and what we initially thought was going to be our path and how we wanted things to go isn't necessarily how it's landing right now. I mean, where we started out that we wanted where we're going to be together, the wedding, a house. We're kind of doing things backwards right now with building the house and eventually the wedding. Um, and his kids they're adults. They have their own lives. They have their own jobs that they have to fulfill, their own relationships. So I get it. Whereas mine they're still minors. They're in the house with us. Unfortunately, they're still very dependent of us.
Very.
This hand holding stage is still definitely there. Eventually, hopefully that'll break off. But I'm grateful for these moments, and I'm grateful that JR is around to teach my young men how to be men. So one of my questions for you is, what was it like dating a single mother who had kids at home?
Well, I mean, it's definitely different. Each child is always different than the next. And, my children were one way with us, with me. And now with your boys, it's a lot different. Um, I'm happy to be able to be in this position, to be a role model to kids. Again, I love children. I mean, I want to be there for them, and these are young men that I want to make sure that they grow up to be, great young men. And I want them to be able to look back in their life and say, man, Jr. was not just a great stepfather, but a great role model, and hopefully a great dad in general. So to me, it's not really really different. I mean, I treat them like they were my own kids, 100%.
You do, and the push-ups are showing it. That's how he disciplines them. He makes them do push-ups, and I find it hilarious to sit back and just watch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. You take teenage boys and you can't hit them. I mean, one is you're gonna have to hit them so extreme that then you're gonna leave a mark, and that's child abuse. Um, the only other way I can think of getting to them, other than talking, is to give them something they really don't like to do. In this case, exercise. Um, at any given moment. So I'll make them drop and do push-ups. You know, when I went through um, Army basic training, when we did something wrong, we did push-ups. We hated it, and now with them, I make them do push-ups. But at the same time, it helps them grow stronger as a person. Period. But gives them a little bit more discipline in their life. And maybe they won't want to do another push-up, so they won't do something wrong.
All right. So, what is the scariest thing you've ever done in life?
Way too many. Um, Scariest individual thing. I did bungee jumping. Did that once. That was extremely scary. Um,
Considering you're afraid of heights.
yeah. Well, when I was younger, I wasn't so afraid as I am now. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I guess when you're young and you're in the teenage years, you think you're invincible, so not much scares you. But yeah, I think that might have been the most scariest thing that I ever did on my own.
All right. And what is love for you?
Wow, that's
So just a
okay.
little disclaimer. JR doesn't know these questions. He knew the first two. He doesn't know the rest of these.
Okay, I'm a little different than most men. I think um, I'm not an extremely religious person, but I am. I do believe in God. I do believe in the Christian Bible. Um, Mind you, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I do believe that um, love is described in the Bible a certain way, and I take that to heart. So when I love, I love like they say, wholeheartedly. I give you my all in everything. Um, what is love? Love is how can I say? It's never having to say you're sorry because you did something wrong, because you try your best not to do something wrong. Love is always being open with the person. Um, Love is unconditional. I'm not gonna love you just because you do this, that, the other. I'm gonna love you because I love you. Period.
Oh, I love you too. And do you believe in destiny?
Uh, no,
Mm.
I don't believe in destiny. And this again comes where the religious side of me. I believe God gave us all free will to move on in life, and I don't think that you're predestined to do anything because then you don't have free will of your of doing or your choice or your path in life. Now I do think there's different paths, and whatever path you take, there's a different outcome. But I don't believe that you're destined to do one thing or meet one person or that. I think just whatever path you take is what's gonna happen.
Interesting. It's different. It's, okay. What is the best part of our relationship?
The best part of our relationship, um, that we can laugh at everything that we do. You know, um, I mean, I can name a whole lot more. Um, but we have fun with each other, even in the smallest things. We don't have this preconceived notion of one another or put one another in a box and say this or that. You have to be like this. We're we're great with each other.
I will have to say, I'm going to answer this one myself. The best part of our relationship is our communication.
Yeah.
I believe that we could sit here and communicate about anything and everything, whether it's something I want to hear, something you want to hear, or, it's those hard moments in life that we have to sit and have a whole conversation. Like, we communicate about everything. And that's not something you see a lot in relationships. So I love that about ours. What are 3 ways to make our relationship better?
Make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's no specific thing that I would say would make our relationship better. We, we do things with each other, and we talk about our differences or what we agree on, what we're looking for in life, and the great thing is that we don't try to change one another, um, to make the other one conform to what we believe that a significant other should be. So I guess that is what I do love about a relationship. But at the same time, there's really nothing I can think of that can make it better, other than us, officially getting married. You know, you being my wife, and I your husband.
All right. And what was one of the first things you noticed in me?
In you,
Mm-hmm.
uh, how genuine you were and are. You know, um, and how you love your family, and not just your children. I'm talking about your family. Everyone on the outside of your kids. I love that. Yeah, I love family. So
If you could change one thing about me, what would it be?
you really want to know?
I want to know.
Okay. One thing I would like to change is, well, yeah, screen time on your phone. Yeah.
I talk about this all the
Well,
time.
okay. No, another thing that getting up in the morning.
I'm not a morning person.
Yeah,
We've
but
established that. This man literally has to drag me out of bed when we set alarms because I am not a morning person. Even though there are some mornings I wake up and I'm good. I don't know where that burst of energy comes from. But then there are some mornings that I was just like this morning, I must have rolled over like 10 times.
Yeah.
And each time he came back in, I was snoring. So, who is the most organized out of us?
Most organized?
Mm-hmm.
That would be you. I mean, even though
I'm not organized.
you're not organized.
Who handles money better?
Well, I handle it real good. I spend it quick. I think you can budget a lot better than I can. Yes.
um, what do you think of my family?
Oh, I love your family. Is what made me. Uh, I fell in love with your family before I fell in love with you. So I think your family's awesome. I mean, they're real. They are loud. You know, they love to have fun. Um, I mean, I love your family.
And what do you think of my friends?
um, honestly, I really don't know too many of your friends. I know your best friends. You know, several of them, and they're great people in your lives. They've affected you, and you've affected them in good ways. And as long as you're happy, you know, I'm happy. I'm not gonna tell you to get away from a friend who's actually a good friend to you. You know, as long as they're not toxic, you know, hey, keep on with your friends.
All right, so now this is going to turn a little rated R here.
Okay.
What is one thing I do that turns you on?
One thing that you do that turns me on. When is this? Just when you touch me, you know, anywhere. Your touch makes me, you know, turns me on. Put it that
All right, one more question
way.
for you.
No. You got to answer that question too.
I get put on the spot. No, this is your spotlight.
No. You got to tell me that.
Um, I would have to agree. It's touch. Because there are times that like you'll touch my shoulder, you touch my ear, like, and it's not necessarily a sexual touch. And then you give this look, and it's not even always a sexual look. It's it's just this I'm truly attracted to you look that you give me, and that just I'm like, all right, let's go to bed.
It's definitely easy to look at you that way because I am attracted to you.
All right, so very last one. What is your wildest fantasy that you've never discussed with me? And I'm not answering this one.
My wildest fantasy that I've never discussed with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've discussed most of our fantasies. um, just, I mean, I know. Yeah, okay. I got a fantasy, and it's like a dream, a long shot. One day, hopefully, it'll come, you know, come true. Is to have to go on vacation and get one of those houses that are put out into the water,
Yes.
like in
Bora
Belize
Bora.
or Bora Bora, something like that, and just make love at the sound of the waves.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can get with that.
I definitely want
All right, somebody want to book us a flight to Bora Bora?
that.
and one of them little huts out there? Because money man over here.
Like I said, it's a long shot, but I want it done one day. It's a bucket list.
We can add that to our honeymoon list. We gotta figure that out.
Try to.
Any questions you want to ask me before we move on to our next segment?
So, what made you attracted to me? Oh, excuse me. And a caveat: I'm not her type.
I don't have a type. I tell you this all the time. So in his mind, I date tall, black, muscular men. That's all he thinks I date. And my love is not, well, he's taller than me. Not by much though, but he is taller. He's not black.
I'm brown.
He's brown. He's lighter than me though. But what attracted me was his smile. You have this smile that lights up your eyes, lights up your face, your cheeks get all rosy. Like it is incredible to watch this man just smile. And the first time I think I truly saw you smile was when you met with me for lunch in downtown and we went to the pizza
The pizza
place.
place, yeah.
And this, like, he was talking about his kids and his job and, things that he took pride and joy in. And you just saw that like light up his face. And that to me was like, I like this man. Like, I really, really like him. And then Christmas Eve, when I was with the kids opening Christmas gifts, and he was texting me little messages, and it was the cutest thing in the world. But so my family does a Secret Santa event, and we open gifts on Nochebuena. And so the kids have started participating in the Secret Santa gift as well, and it's kind of cool to see them um, amongst themselves do this exchange. And I'm hoping that it's one of those traditions we can keep going for a really long time. So I'm always the one that coordinates this stuff, and I don't know how I get voluntold to do this shit, but I do. And he was on the other side of the room with all the adults, while I, of course, was with all the kids. And Jared kept texting me sweet little nothings throughout the night. And I was told that I was going to fall in love with you.
Yeah, I did say that.
Mm-hmm. And sure enough, New Year's Eve, we said Happy New Year's together.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we did.
And we have been inseparable since. I think we've spent maybe one night apart, 2 nights at the most. In these entire, like,
Yeah,
two and
I
a
think
half.
so.
What are we at 2 years yet? Somebody sleepy? So, yeah, that's it. That's the only question.
Um, yeah, I think so.
All right, so that's gonna bring me to my next segment of Pero Seriously. And Pero Seriously is when you have a moment, something that happened to you, something that was told to you that you literally just had to sit back and say, did that really seriously happen? And so I have one. Do you have one you want to talk about?
I can't think of anything right now.
So,
I mean, I get them all the time.
I'm going to talk about one of my pet peeves that I've seen happening with you lately. And I know it's been frustrating you. And it's the whole applying for a new job and how you want to broaden your career. But yet, all the jobs want you to have experience. And it's like, how are you supposed to broaden your career if you're required to walk into a new job with experience in that field? Like, what happened to these entry level, teach you as you go jobs? Like, those don't exist anymore. And if they do, they're paying 12, 11, $12 an hour. And we can't survive on that. Like, not even like as a single person could one person survive on a $12 an hour job. So that's been one of those things that's been frustrating me for you this week, because I know how much you want to, not that you don't like your job, but you're ready to just stretch out your wings and grow. And I'm a person that I have 50 million things that I want to do in life. And so I have a backup plan for everything. And you're kind of not exactly like that. Like, you have a backup plan, but it's not the backup plan you really want.
No, I have a backup plan. I mean, it for what I do. I've been doing it for over 20 years. So it's very familiar to me. I'm good at it. I'm actually great at it. Not to toot my horn, but I know I am. And the bad part is that my career path right now is plateaued. I'm pretty much at the top of the pay bracket for it through my industry, and now it's time for me to. It's staying within the same industry, but moving to a different area of the industry, and I have no experience over there, and I'm trying to get into that side because then I know I can advance myself, and but I'm stuck. Yeah, I feel like I'm stuck, and since I get paid at the highest that you would think for my path, when I go to apply at different companies, they look at it as one, you have too much experience, and two, well, we can hire somebody with less experience and a lot less money than what you know, what you deserve. So it's been frustrating, but I do have a backup plan. I'll do something that I've done before within the same industry. It's just not what I want to do, but I'll do whatever I got to do to take care of my family. So
And you have me. I'll have to support you for a little bit if we need to.
yeah, no, you can, but yeah, you gotta add a couple a zero to your a zero to your income.
Yeah, yeah, we would have to do that. So on that note, we're gonna go ahead and do my last segment, which is Palabras de la Semana. And on this week's Palabras de la Semana, because I'm sitting here with my love, um, I'm gonna use this quote, and it's "Be the person you want to have in your life." And I hope that I show Jr. always that I am who I want him to be as well. And so, love you. Thank you for coming on and chit chatting with me. Any last words you want to say?
No,
No. So I'm not going to put his Instagram out there because he's a very private person. But you will see pictures of him here and there on my profile. Well, mi gente, that's all for this week. If you liked what you heard on this week's episode, please be sure to take a moment to rate and leave a review on Apple iTunes. And don't forget, while you're there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you'll be notified when a new episode drops.